Hello friends, today we are going to understand the chapter number 5th, that is economics of tooling, from the tool engineering subject. Now the title as it is given economics of tooling, so definitely in this chapter we are going to understand the economics, that is the costing approaches of the tooling, means the manufacturing methods. The manufacturing methods required to manufacture the component. Now we are knowing the mass production is happening globally for the components, so that we can compete the market. Now when this mass production happens, so at that time the organization always has to think about the continuous improvements into the mass production also. Now these improvements or the continuous improvements are required into the production plans or the process revisions or the replacement of machinery and the toolings. This is required so that we can change the flow of the component inside the plant, so that the cost of production can be decreased. Again, the process revision or the replacement of machinery. So these technical terms says that so the manufacturing organization has to think about the new machines available which are more productive, more providing the good qualities. So implementation of such manufacturing methods or the machines inside the manufacturing aspects, so definitely that will help to decrease the cost of manufacturing, and in that case we can decrease ultimately the cost of component. So these all aspects are there because we require to compete into the market with the less cost and the better quality. Now this whatever the improvisation requires, so that is been made with the technical superior team inside the plant. Now this superior team or technically strong team, in which the engineers comes and they are required to work in both the way, that is technical and economical. The technical improvisation definitely helps technically the movement of the component inside the plant, then the required method of the manufacturing so that its quality will be again better, and at the same time we require to provide the economical aspect for this, because economically that should be possible and it should provide again the better generation of revenue after sales to the organization. Now these technical and economical benefits definitely are there so that we can provide a better job, better component into the consumers or the person's hand, and we can grab more and more the market. Now in this case, always you should think, whenever you are providing some technical changes, that is suppose you require to change a machine, the earlier machine into the plant by the superior machine which is just now arrived into the market. So in that case you should always think at the same time for the costing approaches also. Now we should understand with this chapter the costing approaches. For that purpose we require to understand first of all somehow the fundamental terms about the cost. Now any manufacturing or trading activity which a person or which an organization is providing, so they are providing because they require the profit. They require to generate some revenue, and that revenue generation is by the formula, that is profit earned by the organization, which is equal to sales revenue, that is after selling whatever the cost they are getting for the components, minus expenses on the production. Now this expenses means whatever the amount you require to put for completing the production activity and selling to the customer. So all that activities comes in which some direct cost, some indirect cost will be there, and all the cost you should think. Then and then only the profit can be earned and the organization can be survived. Now in this case, whatever the sales we have been making into the market, so that sales activity is a competitive activity, and in that case we should always think that if the expenses are less, so in that case we can earn more and more profit from the sales revenue. Also, we can say that by keeping the profit margin lower, the sales cost we can put less and we can compete into the market also. Now, this is required that the expenses of the production should be kept tight. They should not go over the sales revenue, so that the profit should be positive. And in that case, we require to understand the different cost elements into the production. Now this element of cost are being provided with the three styles. These three styles, in which the first style is provided according to the cost accounting purpose, in which the total cost of production can be divided into the three costs, that is material cost, labor cost and other expenses, in which the material cost again divided into the two subcategories as direct material cost and indirect material cost. Labor cost, again it will be divided into two subcategories, direct labor cost, indirect labor cost, and other expenses, in which the direct other expenses and indirect other expenses. Now here we can understand what is the meaning of each cost, each element. Okay, and in this case the direct material cost means whatever the setup cost is been required to produce the component. So that setup cost, that is the plant, the material, the direct material cost which we require to purchase from the market so that we can finish the component. So all that cost will comes into the direct material cost. Now the indirect material cost, in which some of the spares we required so that we can properly maintain the machine or the plant and the manufacturing activity will be happens properly. So in which some consumables also comes, like oil or the coolant, and with this cost the whole material cost comes as direct material cost plus indirect material cost. So for the production of suppose 100 components, the plant cost will be same. The indirect material cost may be changes accordingly the consumptions per unit production, and the summation of this whole for the 100 components is becomes the material cost. In the labor cost, again we require to have the direct labor cost and indirect labor cost. the direct labor cost means for production of the component, whatever the operators are required on the direct machine, so that comes, or the wages of that persons, that operators, comes into the cost of direct labor. But we required some helpers, some cleaners. Again, we required some other persons where the other activities like the HR activity will be there, human resource activity will be there, the purchase activity will be there. So where whatever the persons are being required in different stations, and the wages which are we providing for that, they are not directly into the manufacturing activity, they are indirectly working for the manufacturing activity, and that's why the all other cost of the labors which comes into the category of indirect labor cost. So summation of these two comes into the total labor cost. Now in the other expenses, we required some direct other expenses in which maybe the electricity required for the machine, the water required for the machine, or any other chemical required for the machine or the manufacturing process. So that all comes into the category of direct other expenses because they are directly get consumed while the production is happening. But there are some indirect other expenses also, as we require to collect all the operators which are staying at different stations, and we require to provide the bus facility so that they can come to the shift in time. We require some telephonic expenses to be put on them, some postal expenses on them. So all other these expenses we are being made, which are not actually the part of the manufacturing. So that becomes your indirect other expenses. So summation of these direct other expenses and indirect other expenses come into the category of other expenses. So this way, if we sum the material cost plus labor cost plus other expenses, we will get the total cost for production. So this approach of providing the cost is been called as the purpose of the cost accounting. There is another approach by which we can again put this total cost, and this is required to control the cost, and for that purpose these elements can be styled into the fashion that total cost are get divided into only two categories, direct cost and indirect cost, in which the direct material, direct labor and direct other expenses which comes into the category of production, and the indirect cost in which the indirect material, indirect labor and the indirect other expenses. So with this approach, if we work properly to minimize the indirect cost of these three categories, indirect material, indirect labor and indirect other expenses, if we control the cost of this indirect, so definitely the total cost will be less. So this way, this approach can be used to control the cost, and that's why this approach is famous into the mass production industries, where we can easily control the cost and we can get the less cost for the production. The third approach is for the planning of the profit. Now this approach has been provided with the help of some graphical representation. So this method is a graphical representation by which we can plan the profit. Now this method is again called as break-even analysis or break-even chart, so that the organization can plan the profit according how many quantity should we get sell, so that the earned revenue can overcome the all other expenses. Now for this purpose, here the graphical representation as shown, in which we can find out the production quantity on the x-axis and the expenditures and the sales revenue on the y-axis. So this is the amount, that means the how much expenditure we are kept on the production, and how much sales revenue, that is amount gained by the organization after selling the components. So this graphical representation will have an origin from which the shifting of point P from the origin and the line PQ provides us the fixed cost. So in between the origin, that is zero cost, to the point P, so whatever the amount is required, so this amount is been called as a fixed cost or fixed assets for manufacturing. In this fixed cost, the plant and machinery, so this cost comes. So the cost of machine, the cost of plant, okay, so whatever the fixed assets are there for the manufacturing, whose value is not going to be changed, so that comes from point number 0 to point number P, and the line PQ will represent the fixed asset cost. So according to the production quantity, this line is a horizontal, that means how much quantity you are going to be produced. So this fixed asset is not going to be changed. The line OA represents the variable cost according to the production quantity. Now this cost is, as the production quantity changes, so this cost is simultaneously changes. That means the total labor cost and total material cost will be represented by the line OA. So whatever the total cost required to purchase, so that comes under the line OA, and as the quantity increases, this line steadily increases. Now considering these two lines, that is the PQ and OA, the third line, which is the effect of the total cost, becomes line PR. So this line PR will represent the total cost for the production of the component, considering the fixed cost and the variable cost. So this total cost PR is the cost required to put, or are the expenses required to put to produce the quantity. Now the second part of this graph is very important, that is the sales revenue. Now as soon as the first component has been sold, so some revenue will be get generated by the organization, and as the next parts are being sold out, so whatever the amount sold, whatever the production units are being sold, according to that the revenue has been started to be get generated, and which will be represented by the line OB, which is a dotted line. Now this OB line is the revenue generated after the selling. Now the point where these two lines, that is line PR and line OB, intersects each other, and if you find out the quantity on the x-axis, so this quantity will represent us that at this point, at this juncture, the generated revenue and the expenses what are being kept on the production, so they get matched, and in that case this point will represent us no loss, no profit statement. In the earlier zone of this dotted line, so we are having in a loss, or the organization is having in a loss. The organization is operating, they are producing, they are selling, but still the generated sales or generated revenue is below the line PR, and that's why the company is in a loss. But after the line, after the point of intersection, the PR line comes down to the line OB, and in this case we can say that the generated sales is now providing the profit to the organization. So this point of intersection where we get the quantity, how much we require to be produced at least, so that we should have no loss, no profit statement for the organization. So this representation on the graph will be called as the break-even analysis, where we got this point as a break-even point. So this point represents no loss, no profit for the organization. So this will be explained in this slide, and here with this you can have with this you can have the break-even analysis for the organization. That means what amount, what quantity the organization has to be produced at least. Now looking into the matter, we should understand again one more term which is again direct reflect into the cost, which has been called as a depreciation. Now this is important term because whatever the machinery we are been purchased in earlier for production, so this machine, it may be functionally get weared out as we produces the components from that machine. So in the earlier phase when we produced, so by what efficiency that machine is operated, and after some production by what efficiency the machine will be operates. In earlier phase what quality the machine has been provided, and in the latter phase what quality the machine has been provided. So these all terms are very important to understand the depreciation. Now this depreciation means this is a cost of the machinery which we already have been put for the production, but after selling the components for a long time, after earning some money from that work carried out, so in the latter phase when we think about to drop the machine because of maybe it is not functionally good, or because the design of the machine becomes obsolete and the new machine comes into the market with some better efficiency, with some better quality. So when we think to purchase the new machine, So in that case we are not getting the same price for the earlier machine as we put on it. So whatever the difference comes, so that difference should be kept into understanding, so that the organization should not go into the loss statement at the end. And this term is very important, which has been called as a depreciation. The good example by which we can understand the depreciation cost is, suppose we purchase a two-wheeler of maybe some cost of suppose 60,000 rupees. So day one we have purchased it for the 60,000 rupees. Day two, if we require to sell it because of some necessity, so in that case same amount we are not getting from the market for that two-wheeler. Maybe someone will put a good cost of maybe suppose 50,000 rupees for that vehicle. So that 10,000 rupees, which is the loss which we are having, so that loss is nothing but the depreciation value of the vehicle, which required to be considered whenever the tooling operations are there. Now the causes of the machine will not be in the utility form and it is decreasing its utility. So that may be because of the regular use, maybe because of aging, or maybe because of the obsolescence. This we can understand as, if a machine we have already been purchased, if we use regularly for maybe 1 year, 2 year of the span, so definitely because of the wear and tear, some of its parts will not be work properly, and as a result the quality from the manufacturing will not be good. So this regular usage of the machine may be a factor because of which in the latter phase we require to sell it. Second is the aging. That means because of some age of the machine, some of the typical components which are there inside the machine, as some of the rubber washers, the nylon washers, or any synthetic components will be there. So this, because of the aging, because of the lifespan, that components will not work properly, and we require to again think about to change, to replace maybe the component or maybe the machine in that case. The third one is the obsolescence, in which the obsolescence of design, when it happens, so we should think about to purchase a new model which is arrived into the market with some better efficiency, better productivity. For example, in earlier phase, if we are having a lathe machine with us for the production, and if we are knowing that some CNC machines are available which can able to produce with some better efficiency, then we require to change our lathe machine by the CNC machine. So that decision comes into the category of obsolescence.